rabbinical conference in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Actually, a Jewish prison chaplains conference. And I'll be honest, this is one of the ways that I kind of keep my eyes on the road. I don't know how well you can hear me. I'm driving a big old pickup truck. It's a state vehicle. It is raining, so it's kind of noisy out. But I'm here to talk to whoever wants to talk. In the meantime, I'll have some things in mind that I'd like to talk about just to get this live stream moving, because of course eventually it will go on live. How are you, Ludwig? Good to talk. Welcome. So, let's talk a little bit about Sfiras HaOmer. Now, Rendler Imanover. Good morning, Dave. How you doing? Good to see you. So, again, you guys can ask any questions, whatever you guys want to talk about. Just trying to keep alert while I'm heading out to Pittsburgh. And again, I'll try to fill the time until there are questions with other comments, and then pretty much whenever there's a question, I don't have that much to discuss. I might do a few of these because it is a long trip. And again, I'm open to discuss whatever kind of questions mostly about Judaism. That's what I'd like to focus on, is religious questions. But I am open to talk about some other subjects as well here. So again, we're going to talk a little bit about Sfiras HaOmer. So I'll start off by saying this is a live stream. Hayom Arba'a Be'asrim Yom Shehem Shlosha Shubu'os Shlosha Yomim LaOmer. Today is 24 days, which are 3 weeks and 3 days of the Omer. Now I did that last night already. I actually did a few times this morning. I said those words. Why am I doing that again? As I mentioned, Rabbi, one of the great Hasidic masters, taught that one should do that all day during the Sfira. I don't mean constantly repeating it, a billion times, but throughout the day to remind yourself of which day it is of the Sfira, even though you count the night before. Now, the reason why he says this is because it says Sheva Shabbosos Tevimos Tihiyenu, that these should be 7 complete or perfect weeks, and therefore one should have it in mind, should not be mafsik, you should not interrupt remembering which day of the Sefira it is today. But there's another valuable aspect of that, is that of course we know that if you forget to count the night before, you can fix that by counting the next day. And if you do that, then even though you didn't say a bracha that night before, as long as you counted sometime the next day, of course during the day you can't count with the bracha, you can continue to count with the bracha l'kol hadeos, according to all opinions, the following night. But once you miss one whole day, that's it. There's no going back. There are opinions, particularly the Sanzarov and the Berchaim, who said that actually, since the reason we wouldn't say a bracha if we miss one whole night and day is as follows. It's a machlokus. It's a disagreement among earlier authorities. 1/49th of that mitzvah, and by the time you finish it at the end, you have one mitzvah in your hand of Sfiras HaOmer that took 49 days. And if that's the case, so then you since it's all one mitzvah, if you miss one day, you miss it. It's done. However, if we hold that each day is a separate mitzvah, so then you could say a bracha every day. Even if you missed the whole day, because it's 49 separate mitzvahs of counting each day, not one long mitzvah. Now, since this is a machlokas, this is a disagreement, we say like this, Safek brachos lahaka, right? That if there's a doubt when it comes to reciting a benediction, we're lenient at the way that that's halachically interpreted, is that therefore we do not say a bracha. Although there's kind of a Hasidic word that says Safek brachos lahakel, means that you make on that person and let him make a bracha because he wants so much to make the bracha. But lehalacha we don't really pass him like that. I wonder if that is Susquehanna the Susquehanna River that passing over from the Williamsport area, like Coleman County right now. So anyway, like the Reptile, it says Reptile Land soon. If any of you all come out here anytime, that's a beautiful place to visit, the Reptile Land soon. They have, what do they call it? They have Komodo dragon, they have a leucistic alligator, American alligator, a few other interesting creatures there. Big tortoises, anyway, so according to the opinion that they're all separate mitzvot, then you would be allowed to make a bracha each day. Since there's a doubt, we say when you enter that state of doubt, you don't make a bracha each day. But still, since there's a doubt on the other side, if you do miss a day, you should continue to count without a bracha. Ideally, you go to shul, you hear somebody else make a bracha, and you answer amen and have it in mind, and maybe ask them to have in mind, or anybody who's 1,000 should have in mind. Anybody just stop, make a gila das like that he's having in mind anybody who cannot make a bracha, and fulfill their obligation perhaps to make the bracha because of the safek. And therefore, we continue like that to make the mitzvah without reciting the bracha. But if you answer amen, it's like this is a bracha. Nowadays, you can even listen on the phone, on Zoom. There is a live stream every day from Yeshiva Kesef Torah in Queens, or other live streams as well. But that's one I like to listen to, because I used to daven in that shul. Sometimes I hear old friends of mine, davening there. I was in Yeshiva 20 years ago, and I went to Lander College, but I sometimes didn't get up on time to go daven in Yeshiva, and I go daven somewhere else. Maybe that will lead to another story I'd like to share when we're done with this teaching, if we don't have any questions. Although again, I do strongly welcome any questions that folks might have. So I heard a story, I think Rabbi Koren in Muncie from Shiner Shul, right? I think. Share the link to the live stream. That's something I did share it on Facebook and YouTube already. I don't know, am I able to do that? I don't know if I'm able to. Let me see. Again, I'm driving, so I'm trying to share. Copy link. I'm going to put it right into the... No, I don't know if I can write in the chat. Live chat. Where, Dave, where do you want me to send it? I can send it on Twitter and on... the live stream, you mean from Kesser Torah? You want me to post that? Kesser Torah? I think you meant this live stream. That I didn't understand. You mean the Zoom link is what you're asking for? Dave? Is that what you're asking about? The Kesser Torah live stream? Okay. Thank you. Sorry. I keep asking. I think there might be some delay with the chat and everything. So if you go, I believe if you search Yeshiva Kesser Torah on Google, you should be able to find it. Or the other way is Torah Anytime. No, nothing to be sorry about. That's what I'm here for. Is to answer these questions, including things like that. I'm very happy to help out with that. No, please don't apologize. It's the Torah Anytime Zoom. Send me a message on Facebook, and I'll remember to send it, and then also try to post it as well. But just send me a message a little later to remind me if you can't find it, or if you're able to find it. Just confirm that you found it. It is kind of easy. Like I said, there's the Yeshiva Kesser Torah website. I think it's yeshivakessertorah.org. Or there's also Torah Anytime. And I know that the code to get into the Zoom is 613, like the Tarek Mitzvos, and also it's a one-way Zoom, so you can't, you don't have to worry about people Zoom bombing and things like that. Zoom, you can't, there's a chat box there, but people don't really. Explaining this, I'll talk about this idea of listening to that. So, I heard Rabbi Daniel Koren from Muncie. He said, because of the shul, it's customary for him to lead the sphere with the bracha. On the person once each day, that is the. All right, we're back on. He realized only after he missed that day was Chafei Nisan, the 25th of Nisan. It was a little after north side of the Santero. We're back on. We're back on. So let's now have this idea of listening to. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt, and I'll switch to what you guys want to talk about. Or do you have any other subjects you want to discuss? Well, what is this idea of listening to a minyan on Zoom? According to Orthodox opinions, because I know in the conservative and Reform world, Reform, they don't really have a concept of minyan. It's not really that central to them. The conservative movement being ostensibly a halachic movement, working in ostensibly a halachic framework, although obviously we disagree with them on certain issues. I think they've started to see, I'm not exactly sure if that's the case, but I believe that they hold that you could count all right, we'll look at that. That you could count for a you could count for a minyan even people are not present. We don't. That's not halachic. Halachically, listening to a minyan on Zoom is kind of equivalent to listening to a minyan, and where you don't really count as part of the minyan. You, for example, you don't even really probably have the mitzvah of tefillah b'tzibor. You don't. You certainly can't say Kaddish yourself. Something like that. But when you're listening, you can answer. And it's the same thing over the telephone as long as it's live. If it's recorded, it doesn't. Not everyone agrees even to allow that, but that's, I think Rabbi Yosef allows that and so forth. I think Rabbi Feinstein has certain ideas along those lines as well. So let's look at Livai 123. I daven at a modern Orthodox synagogue, usually as a Satmar shul, Nachamol. Will let me in, or should I talk to the rabbi first? Dave says, good question. It is a good question. the Satmar Shul will let anybody in. You know, as long as you're not a troublemaker, as long as you're not, I'll even give evidence for that. There was there was an issue, unfortunate issue, some years ago, and it got into the news, and they had somebody being interviewed. I won't mention the name of the show because it's not a mitzvah to watch this show. So I'm not encouraging watching it. But there was some issues of some inner disagreements. Again, we're not going to get into all the details. But then the news reporter, who was not Jewish, I believe, asked, what is this? Maybe someone was kicked out of the synagogue. He said, it's only because he was being disruptive. He says, you're welcome in the synagogue. Anybody's welcome in the synagogue. Just like anywhere else, as long as you behave yourself, as long as you're not being disruptive. I would say if you came into Satmar synagogue waving around an Israeli flag, or even wearing a Tzahal T-shirt or a knitted yarmulke with Israeli flag or Tzahal insignia or something like that, they would be uncomfortable with that. They probably, if you're waving around the Israeli flag, I think they might say, that's not appropriate here. As far as a yarmulke or a T-shirt that has some Zionist message, people will probably be uncomfortable, but they will try to be polite because the Satmar tend to be very down-to-earth, normal people. They're not. Maybe the word polite is not exactly the right word. Some are and some are not, just like everybody else. But in general, it's a very relaxed type of atmosphere. I'll give you a different example, not in the synagogue, but the grocery store in Kiryas Joel. I remember there was a young woman who was visiting from the Yiddish farm, which is in Goshen, down the road from Kiryas Joel, 10 minutes away. And maybe the farm is a little bit further out. There's a fellow Yisrael Bas who has what he calls the Yiddish farm, where and it's a more secular type of environment. But he is frum himself. He wasn't always frum, but he is a Shomer Torah. I remember meeting him. He spent the Shabbos in Kiryas Joel. I believe it was for Parshat Zachor, and Yisrael was there. I don't know if he's married yet by now. This is a number of years ago. But maybe 8-9 years ago, something like that, my mishpacha and I, it's been a while since we spent a Shabbos in Kiryas Joel, to be honest. And with that being said, so some years later, I remember I saw a young woman, might have even been something non-binary type of a person, of identifying, wearing on top of this person's garments a talis kota, which is a garment that's reserved for men in most Orthodox circles, not only Hasidic ultra-Orthodox circles, even the vast majority of the modern Orthodox world, you're not going to see a woman wearing tzitzis. Nothing particularly wrong with it, except perhaps Isser Lo Silbash. That perhaps it's a men's garment, and that could be the issue. And my opinion is that if it's a garment specifically made for women, I asked her where you're from. She said a Yiddish farm. That was it. That whole thing. Nobody bothered. Nobody threw stones at her and told her you can't do this. Nobody cared that she was, even though it's something that might be anathema in that community, they really don't care. And if you walk into the shul, if you walk into the men's side, maybe they'd ask you to go upstairs to the women's side, something like that. Because I don't know. But in any event, they mostly just mind their own business. So, if you want to go visit the Satmar community, you'll have a lot of people wanting to invite you. Let's say you're there for Shabbos. A lot of people will want to invite you for Shabbos meals, things like that. They're very hospitable community, and also they're not trying to proselytize anyway. They're not looking for new recruits. That's one thing I like about Satmar. Like you go to Lubavitch, they want you to become a Lubavitcher, right? If you go to Satmar, they don't care. They a lot of them will say, modern Orthodox is great. You do your things. So thank you for watching, Dave. So I'll even tell you another story, even better than the other story about the synagogue. So this is maybe not officially a Satmar synagogue, but the Spinka synagogue. It was a synagogue in Kiryas Joel. So I had a roommate in yeshiva in Lander College. He left yeshiva, and he went over to YCT, which is the more liberal Orthodox. They call it open Orthodox. And he was ordained as a rabbi over there after getting his bachelor's degree at Lander College. And he served as a rav in different places around the country, and now he I think just works in computers, and he lives in Eretz Yisrael. He asked me to make connections. He wants to go Shabbos to Kiryas Joel. Introduced him there. He went Shabbos, and he said that the Rabbi of the shul was very ehrlich Yid, a good friend of mine. Zisha Nyman, I should give him a call. He made an announcement, and he said, first of all, you're rabbis. I guess he had speak already. You're sitting up front. You're sitting over the window. We're treating you with respect because you're a rabbi. And secondly, they were very proud. They said, "Moderne Rabbonim for moderne Yidden." So these are modern rabbis for modern Jews, and we respect them and honor them. So there's no ill will against modern Orthodoxy. There's disagreements, obviously, different views, but the Satmar community have tremendous ahavas Yisrael, tremendous love for Jews, and specifically Orthodox Jews. So they're very, very welcoming. I would not have any qualms. Certainly, you go during a weekday, you want to go mincha, you'll probably see other modern Orthodox yeshivish people davening here and there. Even if you go, let's say to Rodney Street or Q Street or wherever in Williamsburg, or you go to Kiryas Joel or wherever you go, you don't only see the Hasidim who live there, you see modern Orthodox people. In Williamsburg, you have some modern Orthodox people who live there as well. There's actually at least 2 modern Orthodox schools. So all of that is somewhat interesting to discuss. All right. Anything else we want to talk about? This has gone on for almost half hour. I want to maybe tell one more story, because it's last week we read Parshas Achrimos, so it's like Yom Kippur, and this coming week, meaning yesterday, and now we're going to Emor, which also talks about the holidays. So I want to share a story about Moshe Yom Kippur. Specifically, I was reminded of this. Oh, we're back on. Oh, visit the Yekas, see different types of expressions, types of modern Orthodoxy. I'd like to see those, so it's always nice to visit. I encourage that you learn about the beautiful diversity of the Klal Yisrael that way. So I remember, I'll tell you a story when I was in college. Now they say the day after Yom Kippur you're supposed to get up early, right? Because you want to demonstrate that you really meant it, right? So if you sleep in that next day, that's not such a good thing, but it happened. As always, I slept in, I got up late, and I didn't make it to yeshiva davening. So I went over to yeshiva Keser Torah, I guess at 8:30 minyan, something like that. Now they only have Shachris 8:30 Mincha. Have throughout the day, every hour or so. Chakras they only have, I think every half hour actually. Chakras only have one. They used to have more than one. Anyway, this is a little scary here. I just want to share a story. Maybe I should move over because there's other people over here. Also turning, the road turns to the right. So anyway, I get up late. I go daven there, and I see someone I knew there. I think his brother or his brother-in-law went to yeshiva with me, and the fellow says to me, he's a Bukharian fellow. He said, "You heard about Rabbi so-and-so?" I said, "What? His wife? What? What?" He said, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, no. Young rabbi who was our teacher in high school. His wife passed away, a young woman. And since then he's remarried and everything, but I'm saying, what was that? And someone I was very, very fond of, still very fond of, still talk to regularly. Not so often, but here and there. Keep in touch with him. So, to share the story, I think it's an important message in the story. So, I called around and they said, yeah, the Levi is going to, the funeral is going to be this and that. And so I went to the Levi, you know, it was very sad, very heartbreaking. Small children, you know, lost their mother. And, you know, to see the father holding hands with the children, small children, behind their mother's, doing this? Yeah, he's doing that. Behind their mother's, Aron. And I guess he's not moving. Maybe I can pass him. How was it that I didn't know? I came back to yeshiva. Alright. So then she said, that was that the one on the wall? Yes, I didn't see, it didn't say the wife of Rabbi so-and-so, it just said wife of a Koil Lieberman. And so the half of there of Ahavas Yisrael was the mitzvah of davening for another Yid. And the thing is sometimes we have lists of names and we don't know the people, we don't know this and that, right? But we should treat it as if it's someone we know. And the truth is, you might very well know. I didn't know her. Like I met her once or twice, but I probably wouldn't remember her. But I knew her husband. I was very close with him. I know her husband. And so, meaning the point that I'm bringing out here is that it's a mitzvah to daven for them, the mitzvah Ahavas Yisrael, and therefore, you know, don't just push this off. You know, don't think nothing of it. You should daven with all your heart for every Yid who needs a yeshia. I'm just so helpful that we should all be zoicher to not need to daven for such things. We should see the Seres Tovos, good things, just like when by Maimon Har Sinai, that all the illnesses were taken away. So too when Mashiach comes, will be like that again. So we shouldn't have any. This is the month of the Ni Hashem Reifecha. Also, it's raining. The rain of the month of Iyar, the Pinchas Kartzer says, brings healing. In fact, let's get a little bit of that rain, some of that Sphira Reagan. It's a the Heilige Sphira Reagan brings healing, brings Yeshias and Refias, and it's a big skula. So we should be zeiche to all kinds of good things. Looks like there's nobody left here on the live stream. So we'll conclude this now. Maybe a little bit later, start another live stream. But I wanted all those who did participate and joined in. I want to thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment. All those like buttons, the bell buttons, all the buttons. Please, share this channel. I'm trying to build this channel up. I'd like to get it, God willing, praying and hoping, should help. That you all should be good shluchim the Rachmana. That this channel should be big, because why not? I put in the effort to make the videos, talk to you all. That's the hishtadlus I'm putting in. And if I can make a nice parnasa from it, other Rabbis take. Baruch Hashem, I picked up some weekly shirim. I'm very thankful for that. I lost one, but I got two. And Baruch Hashem, they offered me keeping up with that and trying our best to learn Torah together and to be involved in the Ofting for Yiddishkeit, Chapa Yiddish Accord. So we should all be zeiche to this. And so once again, maybe I want to share with you a song that I wrote some years ago, a tune. The words are, of course, from the Chumash, the biblical words, the Torah, the Bible, but the tune I think I came up with when I was a Rabbi. That's how we'll end if nobody else has any questions or anything. Nobody else pops in. Well, let's sing this song. It goes like this: Sheva Shabbos Tmimis Tiana. Those are the words. This is the niggun, and it's nice dancing. Sheva Shabbos Tmimis Tehiyena. Sheva Shabbos Tmimis. Tehiyena. Sheva Shabbos Tmimis 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 Tehiyena. Alright, thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment. It looks like nobody else is here, so we'll close this live stream off now. Maybe we'll start another one soon. God bless. Be well. Thank you.